Blog Talk Radio.
There's a mystery lurking the forested areas of the world. Many have seen something, but what is it? Are they seeing known animals? They claim they walk upright, like a human. There are so many eyewitnesses. Can they all be wrong? Is someone just playing a trick on people? Or is it possible a large bipedal being could exist in the forests of the world? You have a decision to make. Do you believe it exists? These are the topics we discuss on Sasquatch Watch Radio. Welcome everyone to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is October 1st, 2013. The year seems to be flying by. Before we get started with our show tonight, first thing we need to do is we got to bring our co-host in on the board. And how are you doing, Creature Seeker?
Hey, Billy, what's going on?
Oh, it's another hot day here. I think we left fall, went back into summer again. I don't know.
I'm not complaining. I tell you what, this is great.
Yeah, it's looks like we're supposed to be, pretty much in the 80s all week again this week, and it's I'm not complaining either. And we haven't had any rain for a while now, so I don't know what we're gonna do about that. Well,
the rain can stay away, but keep it coming. The good weather. That's where I'm at. We had great weather over the weekend.
Yeah, we had some good weather here. Matter of fact, I rode the bike on Saturday, and gave me an excuse to go into West Virginia and look at a job.
Well, Billy, you ride the bike no matter what, so I don't think the weather is that much of a factor in whether you ride the bike.
Nah, the weather's got to be nice. The only bad part was it was cloudy. It was overcast the whole day. Sun never came out, and it was, kind of a cloudy, dreary day. And I like the sun to pop out a little bit.
Yeah, where I was at in Pennsylvania, the weather was just gorgeous. So had a great time out there. I was out there with PBS folks. They're having their annual meeting.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I had a good time out there.
Yeah, it was great. For reasons which I will reveal, I probably will never be invited to another PBS event. But it was a lot of fun. They're a great group of people out there. It was pretty well attended. I think there are close to 40 people, in all. And Dave Rupert and Eric Altman, they're conducting their annual meeting, and they're just they're saying the right thing. They basically wanted, they were empowering the members to go about their own expeditions and to plan them, and not to have to wait for the head office to give the okay. And that's the sort of empowerment that you need for organizations like theirs,
Yeah, well, they have a lot of members too, and it kind of allows them to be able to get smaller groups together and go out, and not wait on the directors or whatever to set up something. And of course, that's one of the things I strive to do with Sasquatch Watch of Virginia was, get enough folks that and we do. We have a lot of folks that have their own research areas, and they'll go out as small groups and do things pretty much every weekend. So,
well, Billy, it was scary because both Eric and Dave made some really great points at that meeting, and it was kind of like I thought someone had cloned them and replaced the real Eric and Dave. But
all I know is there was a lot of great pictures of you eating. So,
there's always pictures of me eating, and I'm getting kind of tired of that. Why are there always pictures of me eating, Billy? Why? Because they just like to bust my chops. But
I was just surprised it was a sandwich. I was a little shocked. I thought maybe there was something wrong with the photo, but
well, that was just an appetizer, Billy. Seriously, so they had like a little barbecue on Saturday. They did a great job. So I said to Carrie, Dave's wife, I said, good job, with the dinner. And she said, well, I didn't cook. And I said, yeah, I know. But
wow.
No, seriously, Eric and Dave did a great job. Although, Dave, at one point he was rambling like a tumbleweed in a sandstorm. But other than that, they both said the right things, and I think they really got the group psyched. And I think they're the group's on good footing and heading in a good direction. And I was really impressed with their leadership skills.
That's good.
The only thing, though, Billy, here's the thing. They insist. So we went out on a little expedition in Clearfield County, all right? For some reason, they insist on going out squatching in Clearfield County. And everyone knows that there are no Bigfoot in Clearfield County, okay? In fact, Bigfoot Monthly publishes the top 10 least likely places to encounter Bigfoot. Number 1 is Clearfield County, Pennsylvania. Number 2, Manhattan. So that tells you everything you need to know right there, Billy. Right? So they go out there. We drive out to this like logging road, and it takes you right into the bowels of like Fangorn Forest, right? It's all dark and stuff like that. So we get out of our cars, and Eric was like, okay, so here's some things for the people who haven't been out on an expedition. Here's some things that you might encounter. Vocalizations, rock throwing. You might have a sighting. And I interjected, and another thing you might encounter is boredom, because there are no Bigfoot. There are no Bigfoot in Clearfield County. But the scariest thing, Billy, is that we all showed up and we kind of carpooled. So a bunch of cars went out there. The scariest thing though was that I rode with Dave's wife, and we had to back up. We had to back up down this logging road, and she kept driving off the road. I said, Carrie, what is going on? And she said, well, she goes, I'm a good driver, but I can't back up. I go, what do you mean you can't? How can you be a good driver if you can't? That's like saying I'm a good pilot, but I can't land. I mean, the things go hand in hand. You know what I mean? So that was pretty scary.
Wow.
And then later on in the evening or early in the morning, I heard this loud crack at like 6 a.m. So I'm like, what was that? So I get up, and one of the members, like, he showed up, like he and his family showed up at like 9 o'clock at night Saturday, and they're getting a fire going like 6 a.m. and they're like pulling trees out of the woods and breaking them against the picnic tables, and I'm like, what? So I walk out there. I'm like, who's Mr. Lumberjack at 6 a.m. Right? And this guy Bob, and his wife goes, well, doesn't your body tell you when it's time to get up? I said, oh, why why would we want any sleep? The whole camp was up till 3 a.m. on a night off. Why would we be sleeping at 6 a.m.? I mean, that's just crazy, you know? So for all those people out there, here's the tip. Do not try to be Paul Bunyan at 6 a.m. when you've been out, you know, all night long. And, you know, people might just want to sleep in for more than 3 hours, all right? That's just my tip to potential squatchers out there. But, you know, the area they picked for the outing, Billy, was really a nice area. And we went out. There was supposedly a sighting out there, or a park ranger had a sighting, and so we went out to the area where the park ranger had a sighting. And, of course, you know, it was easily accessible, but it was a little bit of a hike out there, and it was all uphill. Yeah. And, you know, when you're hiking uphill in the dark and you can't see where the top of the hill is, it seems like forever. But it wasn't that bad. I think they took umbrage to the fact that on the way back, one of the Sean Forker's friends came by in a pickup truck. I jumped in the back. I'm like, I'll see you suckers. I'll see you suckers later. I left them all behind. Other than that, boy, it was like I said, it was a great group of people. It was a lot of fun. The weather was great.
Good. So. Well, that's good. Good news. Good news. Now, do we want to make our announcement for next week's show prior to getting a guest on, or do we want to do that?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
Okay. Next Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, as always, we are going to be doing a Joyce Kearney memorial show. And we would like for everyone who has any fond memories of Joyce to please call in. I know me and Bruce have some fond memories of Joyce. We've had a lot of laughs together, and we're going to share some of that next Tuesday night. So I know there's a bunch of people, because Joyce knew everybody. Anybody and everybody that's went to a Bigfoot conference, Joyce has probably ran into you. And we just want to hear your fun times with Joyce. So I think it'll be a good show.
Yeah, I think that Joyce would love to be remembered as someone who liked to laugh a lot, because she certainly we shared so many good times with Joyce, and she was such a good sport. You know, of course, you won't believe this, but I used to pick on her a lot, and she was always such a good sport. She was always such a good sport about it, and we used to laugh together. So that'll be a great show.
That will be a face that I will miss at all the conferences.
Yeah, same here.
All right, so everybody join us next Tuesday for that. So to get our show started tonight, we got some great guests with us tonight. We're going to bring Mike Wooley on. He's from Louisiana, and Mike is going to hopefully share his encounter experience he had with us back in 1981, and also another good story to hear is the fact that he is in an upcoming movie that's going to be coming out soon, which is Skookum, The Hunt for Bigfoot. So without further ado, let's welcome Mike to the show. How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, I'm doing very well, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, glad to have you on. And I think Bruce has got Debbie on as well, correct, Bruce?
That is correct. Hi, Debbie.
Hey, thanks for having us on tonight. We're honored to be part of the show.
We're honored to have you on the show. Well, I guess what we'll do, Mike, we'll start out with you. Now you called me back a couple weeks ago, and you told me about your encounter that you had back in 1981. I can tell you that the folks that listen to this show love to hear sighting stories. So we'll let you just get right on into it.
Okay. Well, back in December 1981, one Saturday morning, I got up, and I was running kind of late to go hunting, and I said, I'll just make a evening hunt because I got up late and I got some chores around the house I need to do and things I need to fix. So I'll do that and I'll just go hunt, like go Saturday evening. Well, I deer hunted a lot. I lived in the woods. I mean, I got in the woods at 5 in the morning and left 8 at night. And I was either in the woods when deer season wasn't going on. I was just checking, seeing how the deer were moving and tracks and such as. I just loved to be in the woods. Well, I got all my gear loaded in my old pickup truck, and I headed out to my deer stand. And I was driving down the main highway, and I turned off the main highway on a secondary road heading to the south, and then about a mile down that road from the main road, I turned to the left heading on old logging road that went to the east. The logging road was about a mile and a half long, and what I would do, my deer stand was at the end of the logging road. I would park my truck halfway between the road and the deer stand because I didn't want to drive all the way back there because I didn't want to spook the deer, So that Saturday, I got on my deer stand about 3 o'clock. It was a bluebird day, no wind, not a cloud in the sky. It was a beautiful day for a hunt. You couldn't ask for a better day. Well, I got on my stand, and I was sitting there, and I noticed that everything was quiet. Man, you could there wasn't no crows hollering. You could hear a pin fall. And for some reason, I thought that was kind of peculiar, Anyway, about 3:30, I'm sitting there, and I'm facing, my deer stand's facing north. And this little young doe come running from the east up to my deer stand. And she laid down right at the foot of my deer stand. If I would have stepped on her if I'd have got off my deer stand. And she was probably about 50 pounds. She was pretty young. Sweated down. She was frothing at the mouth. She had been running real hard. But when I saw that, the first thing in my mind, I thought, well, a big buck has been running her, and he's fixing to be coming up from the east, and I'm going to nail him, Well, as I was raising my head up from looking down at her, out of the corner of my eye, my peripheral vision picked up something about 3 o'clock. And I slowly turned my head, and I looked over there, and I seen this thing, I don't know what it is, jump from one tree to the other from maybe like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. He jumped probably 15 feet and landed flat-footed behind another tree and was hiding behind a tree looking at me. Well, the first thing it looked like a humongous gorilla. And I mean humongous. So I get to staring at this thing. And back then, the land that we hunted on was timber company land, and it was open land. Anybody can hunt. There wasn't no hunting clubs. It wasn't leased up. So it was first come, first served basis. And a lot of people would do things. They had tactics that they would pull on other people because they didn't want them hunting on that land. They would tear down their deer stands. They would play practical jokes on them, trying to scare them off, where they could have the hunting land to themselves. Well, the first thing hit my mind, somebody was dressed up in a suit that was trying to scare me off my deer hunting spot. Well, anyway, I started talking to this thing, and I was, it was about 20, 25 yards from me, 50, 60 feet at the most. And I'm talking to this thing, telling him, take your head off, get out of here. I don't particularly like this joke. And I said some other choice words I can't say on the radio to him. And I got to looking at this thing, and where he come from was growed up real bad. It was really brush and bushes and briars, soft briars. I tried to walk back there before to check out the deer, and I couldn't get back there because it was too thick. I mean, the briars and everything would tear you up. Well, the little old deer come from there, so, you know how deer are. They can go through just about anything. It hit my mind, how did this thing get through all them sawbriars and that brush, how dense it was? Well, anyway, this goes on, and it's looking at me in my eyes, and is some of the eyes this thing had was some of the most meanest, satanic, devil eyes. I mean, you know, if looks could kill, I'd have been dead automatically. I mean, that was, you know, I guess what scared me the most, you know, the thing was big, but I think the eyes scared me the most because the way he was looking at me. Well, anyway, I take my rifle and I turn it. It's a 9-power scope and a 270 rifle. I turn the scope down to 3-power where I could, you know, it wouldn't be so blurry looking at him through the scope. So I look at him and I put the crosshairs right between his eyes. Well, I get to looking at this thing, and you know, on a day when it's real, real cold, when you blow out, the moisture comes out your nostrils and your mouth. And anyway, I could see that, you know, going on in his face. Well, anyway, the thing looked so human, I couldn't shoot it. The face was just, it was just too human looking, you know. Must have been about 7 foot tall, 7 to 8 foot tall, 400 pounds, built like a professional wrestler. I mean, flat stomach, big pectoral muscles. I mean, the thing was ungodly. You know, I've got a friend in Tron in Norway says this thing, he was built for business. You know, he was pretty big. He was massive. And but anyway, when I looked at him through the scope, he growled at me. He really got upset because I pointed that rifle at him. And I tell you what, I was really afraid to shoot because I was intimidated that he made me feel like I had a BB gun in my hands. Well, after he growled at me, about 100 yards to the northeast, there was a real sharp whistle. And he looked over that way, and he whistled back. And then he looked at me with a sheepish grin on his face, and I have heard that whistle 100 times in the woods before. And I always thought it was some kind of bird doing it. You know, I wrote it off as a bird. Well, I heard movement. Whatever it was bipedal movement coming from that direction over to us. Well, I knew right then I was in trouble. I said, I got to go. Well, I jumped down off my deer stand. The little old deer is gone by then. I don't know where she went because I was looking to the right and she took off to the left. I was watching him. Well, I took off running. My truck was about 3/4 of a mile away from me. I was about 26 years old, 150 pounds. I could move back then, but I tell you what, my legs felt like they weighed 400 pounds apiece. Well, yeah. I started down the logging road, and I looked over at my left shoulder. This thing is chasing me. He's running through the woods. I'm running down the logging road, and he is bulldozing brush down, trees, little trees. He's breaking branches. When I seen how aggressive that he was knocking limbs out of his way, I said, I'm dead. He's going to get me. Well, I keep hightailing it down the road, and I see my truck in sight, and I get to thinking, what am I going to do? I got to unlock the truck. I got to put my gun in. I got to get in. I got to crank it. He's going to get me. Well, when I get to the tailgate of the truck, I take my rifle, and I swing around to the left, and I fire a shot. I just fire a shot. I don't even aim. I just boom, you know. Well, the bullet hits about 7 foot up my tree, about 3 foot, 2 to 3 foot from his head. I mean, head level, blows a bark in his face. If he would have been another 2 seconds, he might have run head in that bullet. But anyway, I get my truck, and I'm smoking leaving out of there. I mean, I did a job on my clutch getting out of there. And I looked in my rearview mirror, and lo and behold, I didn't know it, but that other one was coming up behind me, but he was on the logging road. I had one on the logging road chasing me, one over to the left flanking me, and they kind of come up together as I was leaving and was standing there watching me drive off.
Wow.
Wow. Mike, so could you describe that whistle that you heard, that you said you heard 1,000 times? You just thought a bird was doing it? Is there any way that you can do it, like demonstrate it for us?
Well, I can't whistle. I've had surgery, you know, about 5 or 6 surgeries on my mouth. I used to whistle, but I can't no more. But just imagine a real shrill whistle. not like a police whistle. It's just a shrill, like a squeal, if you will, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, I was telling Mike that there was a similar story from a guy in Chilhowie, Virginia. Very similar story. And that guy, he moved to Virginia from California. Well, needless to say, he moved back out of Virginia. So very similar story. Of course, he didn't have he had a gun too, but I think his was a shotgun, and he still didn't feel that was enough to take it down.
Mike, do you think that they were just trying to scare you, or do you feel that if they actually caught you, you know, they would have put the kibosh on you?
Well, it's like this. If they would have wanted me, they could have got me. I think number one, I PO'd them because they were chasing their food, their dinner, and I blew that. The little deer come to me. I blew that, number one. Number two, I blew his cover. He you know, I was up about 12 foot in the air, and my scent was over his head, and he run up on me and didn't know it, and I blew his cover, and I think that made him mad. But if they wanted me, they could have got me, you know. I'm sure I could have got one of them with that rifle, but how many? Who's to know how many more was in the woods that day?
Yeah. You know, Ramble One kind of asked a question. Have you ever had a sketch artist sketch what you saw?
Yeah, I sure did. A lady contacted me about 2 weeks ago out of San Antonio, Texas, and she did a sketch for me.
Cool.
Well,
now, do you have that online anywhere where people can see it?
I sure can. I can send that to you.
That would be perfect. Yeah, if you don't mind, just stick it on my Facebook page, and I'll put it up on the Sasquatch Watch Radio page so everybody can see it.
I'll sure get her done.
You don't have to do it now, but we can do it later.
In your recounting of the events, you said that you jumped down off your tree stand, but it was 12 feet in the air. You jumped 12 feet?
Well, what I meant, no, I did not jump 12 feet. I climbed down to about 5 feet, 4 or 5 feet level, and I jumped about 4 foot.
With a rifle in your hand?
With a rifle in my hand.
Wow.
Like I said, I was 26 years old, about 150 pounds. Worked out. I was in really, really good shape. You know, had a hard job where I worked hard. I was in real good shape.
Old School Nate wanted to know, did the eyes actually have like an eye shine? Were they red colored? Can you describe the eyes a bit more?
There was no eye shine. It was about 3:30 in the evening time, and they were the black. They were black.
Okay. So they were black. You didn't see, in other words, there was no whites of the eyes. You just saw solid black.
I just saw blackish. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Bruce.
Oh, I was going to say, so I actually did get a chance to see your YouTube video, Mike. Pretty frightening story that you recount there. So is my understanding that now there's a screenplay written about your event?
Yes. There was a movie wrote on inspiration of my encounter, and Debbie will brief everybody in a little bit on it.
Hi, Debbie.
Hey. Yes, Mike's story was the inspiration behind the movie Skookum, the Hunt for Bigfoot, which we started the screenplay after I met and interviewed with Mike and brought him on board because I wanted this story to be as authentic and organic as possible. And, of course, being in entertainment, you do have to embellish the story to make it, you know, to serve the needs of entertainment, but the essence of it is rooted in Mike's story. And I wanted Mike to come in playing his own character in the story, loosely based on his life and his encounter. And because I just like the authenticity there, in paying homage to the cult classic, The Legend of Boggy Creek. We wanted that small southern town, that Gothic feel, the real people, use real people as extras in the film. And that's where we went into it from. And Mike actually helped develop the story. He brought in Dr. Jeff Meldrum, who I'm sure you're familiar with. And Jeff served as a script consultant during the multiple drafts that we took 4 years to really get to the point before we were out in the field making the movie, which we went into production in April 2013, and it is in post-production now and will be out at the end of this month. And actually we're going to be, and I was going to announce it tonight, we are going to be doing the World Festival premiere at the B Movie Celebration Film Festival in Chicago, or right outside of Chicago, Woodridge, October 27th at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The movie will be screened. It will also be shown the same day at the Galaxy Drive-In in Ennis, Texas, as a screening. So we have fast-tracked it in the post-production. We have some incredibly talented, brilliant people on board who are working around the clock in editing. We just premiered the actual official trailer on Saturday at the Boggy Creek Festival in Falk, Arkansas, and put it online that very day. And we're very, very excited about the product. The production value has gone far and beyond what I ever thought possible, given the budget of the film. So we're really happy about it coming out and hope everyone enjoys it.
Debbie, is this your first screenplay regarding a Bigfoot? Or
yes, I have written other screenplays that have been optioned and produced, but this is the first actual Bigfoot screenplay. And it was the seminal idea when I first decided I wanted to do a Bigfoot movie. I drove every day to work from Vivian, Louisiana to Texarkana, Texas, and I had to drive through Falk, Arkansas. And I've always been just enormously fascinated by Falk and the whole legend of Boggy Creek, and know a lot of people that live there, Smokey Crabtree and that crew. And I thought, okay, if I produce a movie, I want it to be in the horror genre, and I really can't even imagine doing a horror film other than something about Bigfoot, just because I'm so fascinated by the whole idea of Sasquatch and Bigfoot. So it began from there with the idea, and then I talked with a friend of mine, Arlena Akery, who is the head of the Film and Entertainment Office in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I told her what I wanted to do, and she said, you have to meet Mike Wooley. And she gave me Mike's contact information, and Mike and I met, and we have been working on the project ever since, and it's just been a great experience. And I actually got interested in Bigfoot other than the film. We've done some research expeditions together in central Louisiana, and so it's my interest in Bigfoot goes far and beyond just making this movie.
Wow.
It sounds like a very, very exciting movie. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Now, Billy, you know this movie could never take place in Clearfield County, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, I have joked for years, and Mike, I know that you said that you kind of wanted the movie to stay, you know, as clean as possible so that children can see it. But I've always had this fantasy of being in a movie and I want Bigfoot to rip me limb for limb.
Wow.
Well, I wish you could have been in my shoes that day when I was running out of those woods, and I think you'd have had a different thing coming.
Well, no, we're just talking about screenplay.
Oh, okay. But
we're talking about screenplay.
Oh, okay. You don't want no real action in.
No. No, I don't wish that pain on anyone.
Well, we could have that arranged in the next movie.
All right, Digger Dog is trying to put a curse on me. He says that might happen for real. So,
Billy, did you want to give the number out?
Hey, you know what they put on your tombstone when that happened?
What's that?
May he ripped in peace.
Yeah, that probably would be a good thing to put on there. Or may he rip in pieces. Go ahead, Bruce.
Do you think we should give the number out for so that if people want to call in?
Yeah, we can give out the number. That way, if anybody wants to call in and ask Debbie or Mike a question, the telephone number to call in tonight is 347-237-5070. Again, I'll give you the number. It's 347-237-5070. Or if you guys in the chat room want to throw up a question, I'm sure that either Bruce or myself will spot it, and we can ask it from there.
One question that Digger Dog has asked is if Debbie has ever had an encounter.
I have not had an encounter on the level that Mike has, but Mike can attest because he was basically there at the time. We were doing some research in and around Natchitoches, Louisiana, which is central Louisiana, and out in the boonies, out in the forest. And we actually we were filming some things, and we saw a shape that really looked like a Bigfoot and got it on film, and that's kind of in question, but it was just too far away to be able to establish anything definitive. And that same night, I spent the night with some women out there who we had gone to interview because they had been terrorized by some Bigfoot. And, you know, they had the prints and castings and everything that they'd taken, some hair, and they had been terrorized by it. So I said, well, I'd just like to spend the night. I'd like to stay in the room where you guys have been hearing this every morning at 1:30 in the morning, and I'll just have my camera ready. And when that thing starts screaming behind the chicken house, I will be ready for it. Well, 1:17 in the morning, I woke up in that little room at the back of the house and heard this, the vocalization, and I knew it was Bigfoot. I have never heard anything like it. And I was actually kind of embarrassed to tell you guys this, but I was so terrified and paralyzed, I just threw the covers over my head. I wasn't about to look out that window and have Bigfoot looking back in at me. I think I would have had a heart attack and died right there because, we're out, isolated. It was just one other woman in the house and me, and we had guns in the house, but we felt so vulnerable. But I would describe this vocalization as it sounded like an African lion with the build up to the roar, the guttural throat tones, like and then the huge roar that was just absolutely mind-blowing because it's almost like it shook the house. It was so loud. You knew that had to come from a creature of enormous size. So that was my experience, and it's scary. I still went back out there, but my treks have pretty much been day treks because of that sense of vulnerability there. If I had a big group with me, at the house that night, I probably would have been a little bit more courageous about looking out the window and trying to get some video there, with lights. But it just, I was scared. It was absolutely paralyzed me.
Yeah.
What year was this, Debbie?
Oh, this was just this was a year and a half ago. So it was 2012.
Wow. I wonder if Eric Altman was down there in 2012, Billy.
It might have been him. I don't know, Bruce. I think you and I might need to take a trip down there and have Mike take us out into the woods of Louisiana.
Let's go for it. I'll bring the sandwiches.
Is that tree stand still there, Mike?
No, it got demolished some way or another down the road. It got demolished.
It might have been Bigfoot that demolished it. Says, I ain't letting that guy come back in here. I wasn't going to give him a second chance, to give me another run out. Now, have
Mike,
you been back to that spot? Have you been back there, Mike?
No, I moved from there.
Okay.
Back in 1985, I left from down there and moved up to Shreveport area where I took a job in 1982 and went to work for GM. And that was, a long way to drive, so I moved up to Shreveport, and I left the area down there.
Okay. But you haven't been back to that spot since your sighting?
No, because now it's hunting club land, and it's all fenced up and posted. And, I thought I'd let them have it, They can have the Bigfoot with it.
There's probably some big ripped holes in that fence.
Yeah, I imagine it is. Probably more ripped holes, something else, and something else too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say. So, Debbie, is this going to be? Are you going to make? Do you plan on making more Bigfoot movies?
Yes, we do. Actually, the script for the sequel is about a third of the way done. My co-writer, who helped me write the script for the original Skookum Hunt for Bigfoot, is actually working on that right now. So she's writing the first draft, and hopefully we will be able to go into production in April of 2014. We're targeting that. Hopefully Skookum Hunt for Bigfoot will do well, and we'll be able to slide right into production because we have our core team who we know we work well with. And it's like a synchronized orchestra when you can have a group like that. It's just magical. It's amazing. So we've got that now in place because we brought them in on Skookum to Hunt for Bigfoot. And everybody that was on the project, Jack Schuyler, Alex Zenzopoulos, Shane Nazchek, co-directors, they just went way above and beyond the call of duty on this project, and those are the people that I trust to deliver on time and to do exactly what they say they're going to do, and I can't say enough good things about them. So we just got our core team ready, and we're gonna go. In fact, we've got a title: Skookum Rogue Bigfoot. Well,
my arms and legs are available if you need somebody.
Yeah,
Debbie. We might just take you up on it,
I would love to do it. I tell you.
We need somebody that's going to take the fall for this. Somebody that.
Debbie, I have an idea for Hunt for Skookum Part 3. So 2 radio show hosts go down to Skookum Land, and one gets ripped to pieces, and the other one gets so scared that he moves to Clearfield County, Pennsylvania.
Son's the Bigfoot, huh?
The Bigfoot free zone we know is Clearfield County, Pennsylvania.
And so you're going to be the Bigfoot bait, huh? We can throw you out there. the sacrifices we make for our art.
That's right. That's right. Now, Ramble One wanted me to ask Mike and Debbie, have either one of you two read the book Night of the Bigfoot?
No, I haven't.
I have not.
Okay. I haven't read it either, so.
Hey guys, I got one for you.
I have read the book Bigfoot Wars. They just made a film in Mineola, Texas, about Bigfoot Wars. I can't remember the guy that wrote the book, Eric someone, I think, and they made a movie based on the book, and that was in Mineola, Texas, which is not very far from Caddo Lake, where we filmed in Louisiana in East Texas. So
cool. And Mike, go ahead.
Hey, you know what the difference is between our Bigfoot in the South down here and y'all's Bigfoot up there?
No.
They rip you three ways when they get a hold to you. You know what ways that is?
No, what ways?
Long, deep, and continuously.
Oh, man. Oh.
Well.
So where do you go, Mike? Do you have a place there around Shreveport where you can go out and research?
Well, I got a friend. He's got a good bit of land here, about 4 or 5 miles from my house, and I've got that area that I can research with him, and he's been taking me some places in Natchitoches Parish, Louisiana, where we've been working these ladies' houses where these things have been coming up, behind their houses and scratching on the screens, beating on the walls, pulling on the doorknobs, just tormenting the hell out of these ladies, Mm-hmm. And we get calls from other people. We got some calls. We got 3 or 4 calls right now that we've got to go check out.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Yeah, and I'm going to make sure too. Now, Debbie, you said the official trailer's already up, I guess, on YouTube.
It's up on YouTube. If people want to see it, they can just go Google Skookum, the Hunt for Bigfoot trailer, and it'll pop up immediately.
All right,
and they can go to our website. They can go to our website. We are taking orders. If people would like the director's cut DVDs, which I don't know how long we're going to, it just depends on any kind of distribution deal that we should get. That's why we're calling everything screenings right now. And any purchases of the director's cut DVDs, which will be out, about 3 weeks from now, we'll be mailing those out, will be called donations, and they will be at a discount of what they will be, of course, after the official movie comes out. And because we're asking for audience, this is test audience director's cut DVDs, and because we're asking for feedback from the people that watch it, we are giving whoever donates to that to get the director's cut, we're actually giving them a special thanks credit on the film. So that will be only for about another 3 weeks that they'll be able to do that. And if anyone's interested, they can go to skookumthemovie.com website and click the news page, and there's a little button there where you can go.
Wait a minute. Is this the one that Dr. Meldrum is in?
Yes. Dr. Meldrum stars in this movie.
So Billy, that's why he hasn't been returning our calls. He's Mr. Movie Star in the trailer down there.
Exactly. I've been trying to reach that guy and show him some footprint casts that we made. That's why I can't get a hold of him.
Yeah,
he's busy boy. He's a movie star now. So
yeah, Debbie, when you see Dr. Meldrum, tell him that Bruce said hello and that he should return our phone calls.
Okay, I'll send a message to him.
Yeah. So tell him to remember the little people on his way up to the top.
I tell you what, guys, we're going to throw in a couple of director's cut DVDs for y'all tonight too for having.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're out. Right. You guys get one, and these will be out. These will be sent to people before this movie actually comes out. So that's beauty of it.
Very cool.
That's great.
I'm looking forward to that. Sounds like a good one. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it does sound great.
Hey, just give me on Facebook. Just give me your address and where we can send these DVDs.
Okay. I'll do that. Of course, Bruce don't have Facebook because he's all secretive.
How far does he live back in the woods? How far does he live back in the woods?
I'm not secretive, Billy. I don't have a Facebook page because there's just too much drama on Facebook.
He lives in the woods. Well, I guess you could call it woods. It's called the Big Dig under Boston.
Wow. Debbie, in the Hunt for Skookum Part 4, are you going to try to cast any of the members of Duck Dynasty in that movie?
Oh, gosh.
Oh. They were actually invited to be in our original film. I mean,
really?
Over in Monroe. And actually, I'm related to them. I've never met them in person, but my grandmother was a Robertson. So they're like my second cousins first removed or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Kind of
that is cool.
funny. I guess everybody in Louisiana is probably, second cousin first.
Hey,
Arkansas is our neighbor, so we're all kin even up there,
They say the same thing about me.
Yeah.
They say the same thing about me from around West Virginia.
Oh, really?
How many toes you got? How many toes do you have?
I think it's about the 5 at least.
Yeah, Debbie, Billy's not kidding either. His family tree doesn't fork.
I got 7 toes on my right foot.
Yeah, Louisiana and Arkansas are great places to live as long as you don't mind inbreeding. That's the big joke.
Well, it sounds to me like that area is exactly like West Virginia. So
it makes it all the more colorful and interesting, So
I'd love to see Uncle Si in one of the Skookum movies getting chased by a Bigfoot while he's running through the woods holding his cup of iced tea.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be cool.
Mike came up with a great idea of Si being out there, Phil being out there with the duck calls, and all of a sudden they get this Bigfoot roar back at them, and it's like, oh, I wouldn't go in for that.
That would actually be perfect because you know how Phil's always really low key and calm.
Yeah.
For the first time you see him get up and run.
I know. They'd be great. They're really great people. They're they're awesome people. I don't know them personally. I just think I love them. You just gotta love them. So.
Well, I think if they could perfect a Bigfoot call, I think that would be a hot seller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and I've seen that people are trying to develop those. I don't know. I mean, are there any that are effective at all that you know of?
No.
No. Not that we've seen. We haven't had very good luck with anything. You have people try call blasting, what they call call blasting, different vocalizations. The problem is you hear these sounds, and then if you record them and you play them back, do you really know what you're saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that Bigfoot call like a distress call? Is it a I'm coming to get you call? We don't know. So.
Yeah.
You could be somebody out there in the woods too that's got a call blasting with you, and all y'all do is call blasting each other.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I think that happens a lot in certain areas. For example, a good example is in Ohio. Salt Fork State Park is one of the biggest Bigfoot attraction areas in the state of Ohio. And there are so many researchers out there, I guarantee that happens.
That makes sense.
you're just overlapping each other what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. Ramble One wants to know if they can get one of those DVDs in Canada.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Debbie, you may need to have subtitles for those folks in Canada.
Or what?
Better watch yourself. I don't want Ramble One to come down here and put a whooping on you.
Well, hey, we've got French in Louisiana, so we just, we might go for it. We've still got the Canadian populations down in Louisiana. Some places they don't speak English at all in South Louisiana.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like some parts of Boston. Down in the 7-Eleven district, you're gonna need
I don't know. Do they have 7-Elevens down in Louisiana, Mike?
Well, we used to have them, but now it's Circle K's.
Yeah, Circle K's. Yeah, we're getting some of those here too, but yeah, a lot of the 7-Elevens, when I've been down in the South, you just don't see many of them.
Yeah, they went out in the 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, Billy, that's because a lot of people can't count that high down there. The hate mail's going to start pouring in now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Y'all be talking about my kinfolks now. I'd be rolling my sleeves up.
Hey, I worked with a guy one time. Down here, and he was from up north, and he just had a fascination about alligators, and he told me one day at work, he said, man, this alligator got run over on the road on my way home this morning. I saw it. I said, you sure it's an alligator? He said, yeah, it's a baby alligator. So he took me there after work to see it, and it was a dadgum armadillo.
I'm surprised he didn't knock the suspension out of his car.
Roadkill.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay on the road long in Louisiana, especially South Louisiana.
Well,
people want come along, pick them up, and cook them.
Yeah.
Mike, the problem with down in Louisiana, you guys got a lot of gators and snakes. It's no wonder most of your time you spend in the tree stand,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, nothing safe down
You
here.
definitely want to be wearing your swamp boots out there when you're fishing or close to the water.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I would love to go on a squatching expedition down in Louisiana. In fact, I took a tour, a swamp tour down there with this outfit, and the captain of the boat was talking about his experiences as a teenager with the Honey Island swamp monster. And it's one of those things where if you ask them in front of like a crowd, in front of all the people who are there, they'll say, "Don't be silly. There's no such thing." But if you get them alone, they will tell you some hair-raising stories, but they just don't want to say it in public,
No, they don't want the ridicule, but there is in South Louisiana, Bigfoot there's a French name for Bigfoot, and that is Rougarou.
A what?
Mm-hmm.
Rougarou.
Rougarou.
Yes, I've heard that.
Rugaru. Rougarou. And in fact, one of the guys that was in our film that played the role of one of the fishermen, Tony Severio, is a filmmaker from outside of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and he just completed his film, the editing, and I think it's got distribution now. And the title of it is Rougarou. It's another Bigfoot film, and I'm looking forward to that coming out too.
Oh, I'm gonna keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna have to start checking in with you, Debbie, so that you can tell me all the Bigfoot movies coming out.
Yeah,
well, I'll try to keep track. Well, it's. I think his distribution company is called Digi, D-I-G-E Distribution.
Okay.
So it should be coming out pretty soon.
Now, do you have
they finished before we did.
Do you have a Facebook page, Debbie?
Excuse me?
Do you have a Facebook page?
I do. It's Debi King McMartin.
Okay.
And then we have a Skookum the Movie Facebook page. If you go to Facebook, it is Facebook.com/Skookum the Movie. And then our website, SkookumTheMovie.com.
Very good. Perfect. That way everybody can check it all out. And I think Bruce put the YouTube video up earlier.
Oh, okay,
chat.
great.
So.
Yeah, I put the link up to the YouTube video, the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Mike, when you first talked about your experiences, did you get a lot of people just just saying you made it up or you're crazy, or did you get a lot of that, or did the folks that you talked to believe you and kind of just said, wow, I didn't know that was out there?
Well, the first 5 years that this happened, I was in withdrawal real bad. I got to work. If I went hunting, I'd go at 8 o'clock in the morning. If I'd get out at 4 o'clock in the evening before it started getting dark. And I got to where I was looking behind trees. I really couldn't focus on deer hunting. I was looking for Bigfoot. I was looking for a monster because, man, I'll tell you what, it did a job on me. And I wouldn't tell nobody about it because I didn't want to, I was having a bad hunting year. I wasn't killing no deer that year. It was a really dry year. And I thought everybody would say, you just made that story up to throw us off your record on what you're doing. You're not bringing no racks in. And but anyway, back in 1998, 1999, all these movies started coming out, Mysterious Encounters and the Bigfoot movies, and people were getting on there testifying. So I called some of those people. I told my story, and I started talking about it. And I had a couple close friends back then I tried to talk to. The guy's dead now. His name's Wayne. And I said, Wayne, man, I was hunting out there the other day, not far from your house, and you ain't going to believe what happened, This dadgum thing, and he cut me off. He said, oh, Mike, he said, what happened? Did you get out there and the big bad boogeyman get after you, run you out of the woods? Is that what really happened? And I just shut up. I said, okay. I know, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to, because that kind of hurt my feelings. And I didn't know if I was losing my mind. I didn't know if that was an omen sent down from above to try to tell me something or what. But at nighttime at my house, if I was sitting in the living room watching TV, I would close the curtains because I was so afraid that one of those things might be peeking in the window at me. And it really did a job on me mentally. I'll tell you what, people just don't know what mentally you go through. It changes your life. I don't care who you talk to. It's a life-changing thing.
Yeah, I can imagine so. I mean, you get chased out of the woods like that, and you feel like you're going to get caught. You're just relieved that you made it to the truck and got away. I'm sure that was the biggest relief you felt in your entire life.
Well, I tell you what, when I was on that deer stand looking at that thing, it was 30 degrees, and my knees were knocking, my teeth were rattling. I broke out in a cold sweat, and I got real sick in my stomach. My stomach got tore up, and I think I had one of those panic attacks,
Right.
But, man, I said a prayer, legs don't fail me.
Yeah. I can imagine. I could sit here and say I can imagine, but I don't think I can. There's been some times when a few of us have been out in the woods, and not me and you, Bruce, but I've told you some of me and Tom's. But and that's another thing we joke about in the field is it almost seems like certain researchers, when they get together, it's like a Bigfoot magnet or something. I don't know how to explain it, but certain researchers can get together and things happen. I don't know what it is. A good friend of mine by the name of Tom, him and I have went out and we've had several experiences when just him and I are out. We had one up in the Jersey Pine Barrens up in New Jersey. We had experience up in the Adirondacks up in New York, not far out of Whitehall. I mean, crazy stuff, just crazy stuff. And the one in New Jersey was not. It was frightening, not as frightening as your deal, Mike, but it was frightening enough that we were just hoping to make it to the truck.
Well, Mike, so, I can tell you that one of the cases I was working on was an individual who, over a period of years, claims that he's had encounters and visits. And, you know, one of the things that was really compelling was that I went up to his property where, you know, he claimed that these encounters were happening, and he would not leave his deck. So after a certain time of the day, he said after 3 o'clock, he doesn't go out. And to me, whether he saw something or had an actual encounter or not, it was clear to me that this person believed he did because he was terrified. I'm talking about a guy who in his late 50s, you know, and he during the day before 3 o'clock he's fine, but after 3 o'clock he gets real skittish. And I remember he was just standing up on the deck, and I was actually going back in the woods there. I could still see the deck from where I was, but he would not go out there. And for many years he was like that. So Mike, when you say that it had an impact on you, you know, just mentally, I can believe that.
Well, it just it'll make you look over your shoulder and double check every step you take, because you know, I used to have that feeling out there. I was being watched, and I would be out there walking through the woods, and I would hear something, you know, like something was following me, and if I took 4 steps, it took 4 steps, and if I took, you know, 3 steps, it took 3 steps. I never could see it. I never could see what was doing it, and I had limbs thrown at me before, you know, and I thought, well, maybe that's falling out of the tree, you know, but I said, no, it couldn't be, you know, and, you know, just all kind of weird things happened to me, and I would hear growls, low growls, and I thought that was maybe a cow, you know, or a wolf or something, you know, and but that day, when all that encounter happened, all that come into my mind, all that data was racing through my mind, what had happened in the past, and it was just like adding something up. And when you get your total, you know, you're done. And that's what basically come to pass right that day.
Well, you know, like one of the sort of the running joke with me is that, you know, when I go in the woods, I'm pretty fearless, but I've never had a sighting, and I'm in the group. I'm considered the skeptic, and you know, I think that probably my demeanor probably would be a lot different if I had the sighting encounter that you had, you know. So, you know, that's one of the things that you think about a lot.
Yeah, and I don't think no one truly knows how they'll react until they have a sighting. You know, it's just one of the things that has to happen before you can really judge what you're going to do.
Well, the thing that shocked me the most was, you know, until you actually see something like that. You know, you read about that and see it in the movies, you know, but that's the movies, and you hear about it in far off places, but you think, you know, not my place, not my house, not my state. And then when something does pop up in front of you like that, you're so dadgum shocked that, you know, I kept thinking in my mind that I was seeing things. I said, this ain't real, you know. So I closed my eyes for about 30 seconds, and I took some deep breaths, you know, and I thought, well, it'll be gone, whatever it is. I'm just dreaming. And, well, when I opened my eyes, there he was, showing me his teeth, clicking his teeth at me, you know. And like I said, you don't know what you'll do till you have one in front of you. But I guarantee you, when you get one in front of you, like I did, it's game on.
Wow. Mike, do you think that had you not run and you just stayed in the tree stand, do you think that they would have tried to come up after you?
Well, I think what was starting to bother me, you know, that was happening at 3:30, and it got dark at 5 o'clock. And if I would have let dark catch me there, yeah, I think I'd have been in trouble. I think they would have made a run on me at dark.
Yeah, especially since you knew there was more than one at that point. He was probably whistling to the other one, "Hey, we got a guy over here in the tree. Let's get him." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, let's hang up on this guy. This guy just kept us from getting our dinner.
Yeah, they would have probably took me, since I'm 6'4", you know, I was really tall and lean. They probably made beef jerky out of me.
Wow. Yeah, Mike, do you think it would have been spicy or smoky flavored beef jerky?
Well, I'd have probably been medium. My wife says I'm full of, you know what, and vinegar, so, you know, they had to boil me. They had to boil me a good bit.
Oh, man.
That's quite a, you know, think about this, though, Billy. That's quite a decision you have to make. You're in a tree stand, you see one, now you got to decide, do I run for it or do I just stay put, you know?
Right. Well, like you said, he had that small rifle, so he knew, you know, shot placement was the only thing that was going to save him.
Yeah. Well, if I wouldn't have had that rifle, I think I'd have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, look, a 270, that's a pretty decent rifle. It's got a pretty flat trajectory. I mean, it's one of the flattest shooting calibers that you can get. And for most animals in North America, a 270 is fine for deer, but against a creature that, you know, 7-8 feet tall, could weigh 600 or 700 pounds, you got to be really good with shot placement.
Yeah, especially if it's stupid.
I think in order to have brought him down, it would have took a head shot and an eyeball or something like that. You'd have had to took his brain out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's if he would have held still for you, and you know that ain't going to happen.
No, because when you were shaking like I was shaking, man, I mean, it was hard to hold the crosshairs, you know, between the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had a lot of fun tonight, guys. Mike, I thank you, and Debbie, you too. I thought we had a blast tonight. It was a fun show.
Yeah, that was
a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
And go ahead.
Can we get you guys back on when the your Skookum, you know, the part 2 and part 3 are ready? Can we get you guys back on the show?
Oh, we would love to do that.
Yeah.
Anytime you guys want, we'll be happy to come back on the show. We love it. This is my favorite part now. So.
And then Mike, you know, if me and Bruce ever get down that way, we'd like to visit that area down there.
Well, I'll be glad to take you guys out, man. You got a welcome. And we'll see if we can put a Southern Sasquatch. What was that movie that we had down here? I don't forgot the name of it.
Southern Fried Sasquatch, or?
No, it was started with a D. I can't call the name of it, but maybe we'll have a sighting, and we'll be more than happy, you know, to show you guys around.
Well, you said it started. Bruce, he said it started with a D. He said it started with a D, and if we come down there, it means it'll be dysfunctional Bigfoot.
No, hey, I know what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Deliverance. Y'all guys ever seen that movie?
No. We don't need no Deliverance. No.
Oh, my God.
If I come down there, Mike, and I see you with a banjo, I'm sorry, I'm getting back to the vehicle and leave.
I don't like it. Be trying to go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, we had a good time. I thank both of you guys for being on, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. It's really nice being on tonight, and I thank you for having us. And y'all were some great hosts, and, I wish you the best of luck in your Squatch hunting and everything, and hope you have a lot of encounters.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike, and thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Debbie.
Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Debbie.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Billy, I hope I don't have an encounter like Mike's, because that's a pretty freaking scary encounter. I tell you what.
Yeah, that would be some kind of experience to have. I tell you what.
Yeah.
It sounds like, that I could see where that would change somebody's life. I mean.
Oh yeah.
And can you imagine? See, I remember how me and Tom felt when we finally got to the truck in New Jersey. Okay, and we didn't really see anything, much less Mike here sees this thing and watches it for God knows how long, and then he finally gets to the truck and actually gets away. I mean, can you imagine that sigh of relief?
Yeah.
I mean, he was probably thinking the whole time, God, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get out of here.
Billy, have you ever seen that movie? Well, this is one of my favorite movies. It's called Dog Soldiers. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Billy, you got to get this movie. All right. Well, since you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna mention it. But parts of Mike's story reminds me of some scenes from that movie.
Okay.
So, but definitely you're gonna have to get that on Redbox or Netflix.
Yeah.
I would love to go down there, Louisiana, as long as I don't have to deal with gators or snakes.
Well, you're gonna have to bring your knee-high boots, I guess.
Yeah, my snake boots.
Yeah. So, anyway, well, it was a fun show tonight. I thank both of them for being on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie. And everybody check out their website. Probably can get right on Google and type in Skookum, the Hunt for Bigfoot. I'm sure you can find it in case you didn't see the website or the link that Bruce put up. But, again, we want to remind everybody, join us next weekend as we have the memorial show for Joyce Kearney. And we're hoping everybody can join us and tell us your stories or some of the stories that maybe you and Joyce shared. We want that to be a great show as well, so we're looking forward to that. And Bruce, do you have anything else before we log out?
No, that's pretty much it, Billy. It was a really fun show tonight, and I can't wait to have those guys on again, Debbie and Mike. They were great. Yep.
We'll have another good time. I tell you, it was a lot of laughs in this show. We had a good time.
Yeah.
All right, so until next Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll see everyone, and everyone have a great week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Remember to join us again next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We appreciate every one of our listeners. Thank you so much for being here.
You can dream big while helping at-risk youth realize their dreams. Enter Youth for Tomorrow's Sweetheart Benefit Raffle. One lucky winner will receive a brand new 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander Hybrid XLE or $35,000 in cash. Everyone will be part of Youth for Tomorrow's mission of changing lives and improving our communities. The drawing will be held on February 10th, but your support will be felt all year long. Tickets and more info at youthfortomorrow.org. That's youthfortomorrow.org.